So we have already talked quite a bit about having real estate conversations with people. But at the end of the day, if you walk away from a real estate conversation and you have not collected a name, phone number, email address, or something, you have just wasted time. Yep. So we're going to talk about collecting data from new prospects because for our team, we're constantly real estate conversations every day. Every agent on our team has a number. I want to have X amount of real estate conversations. So number one, understand the primary goal of every encounter is to collect data. No matter who you're with, who you meet, or wherever you're at, your goal is when you have a conversation with someone that you don't know, to collect data. It is a complete mindset change. When I know today, every person I come in contact with, I'm trying to get their name, phone number, email address so that I can have a follow-up conversation. And remember, for me, handing out, but handing out for me, business cards is the least effective way to get people to call you back and to convert them. People throw away business cards. I don't even often. And tip number 3, I'll show you how I circumvent business cards. I don't carry business cards because actually I find not carrying business cards gives me a better opportunity to collect data.
Absolutely.
And case in point, three weeks ago, we're buying an investment property in California. So I got to go to my bank, Chase, to wire earnest money. And this poor kid behind there helping me, he's like, well, how come we're not doing the mortgage for it? And I'm like, don't worry about it, pal. We got it covered. Then he's like, he goes, oh, where do you do your business banking? And I said, Comerica. Oh, you need to bring your accounts here. And hey, I appreciated it.
Yeah.
I appreciated his game. Well, by the time we got done with the real estate conversation, I got his name and phone number. And now we're in communication because it's a mindset. Yeah. And I really wasn't in the mood when I walked in there, but I'm like, well, he's playing me. Mm-hmm. So I'd be embarrassed to go back to my team and say I didn't play him and boo.
That's awesome. I'm just, so many things are going through my head right now about those types of conversations. I mean, if you think about it, when you wake up in the morning, I don't care if you're going on a date. I don't care if you're going to go out to the bar. I don't care where you're going. You're always in the hunt for data. When you see a pretty girl at the end of the bar and that's the person you want to go over and have a conversation with, you got to go over and collect data, and you can't be the regurgitator. You can't be the person that just wants to tell them all the things about you, right? So what you need to do is reformat those things into questions that get them talking and get them answering questions and finding out more about the other person. And Mike, you did that, and obviously it works to your advantage.
I don't know whether this is an appropriate story to share, Nick.
Oh, well,
okay. No, the answer is no then.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Email me at MikeW@WhatYouSay.com.
All right, number 2.
Number 2. All right. Put yourself in their shoes. What does the consumer want right now? Understand what the consumer is interested in. Right now, for me, consumers are interested in rates. Not all, but the majority of my real estate conversations I'm having with people are around interest rates because this is what's on their minds. Obviously, when COVID hit, it was how COVID was impacting. And so for me, you're customizing your conversations to what you think these people are going to be interested in, what's on their minds. It completely changes. If I'm having a conversation with someone who I've identified right off the bat, they're a potential seller. On tip number 3, I'm going to show you how I use a special tool to collect data. If I identify that they're a potential buyer, I'm going to use a different tool. Open houses. You have got to, when somebody walks in your open house, you've got to establish who they are. Are they someone who lives in the neighborhood? Understand what's on their minds. Are they someone looking in the neighborhood to potentially buy? What's on their minds? Or are they part of another brokerage that has 3 letters and they're there to recruit you? Not calling them out by name, but we all know who they are. Is that appropriate? No? But anyways, and the other thing, and we preach this and preach this and preach this to our team. Everybody knows a half a dozen agents. There is nobody that you're going to come across that wants to talk to an agent, but everybody you come across wants to talk real estate.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. I mean, when the prices go up, Mortgages are more effective, of course. Payments are more effective. So interest rate becomes a reasonable conversation. That's part of that dilemma, that part of that obstacle that consumers have. They want to know, how much do I really need to put down? How much cash do I have to have available? Again, what's going on in the marketplace? Are there still multiple offers on every single contract that's out there? Am I going to end up having to pay more than a property's worth to acquire it? I mean, there's so many things that people are thinking right now because of the way that the market's going, and you have to find a way to, throw some of that out there and see what the consumer bites on. It's kind of like fishing. See which one they're biting on. And when they start, whatever usually it is, the first one that they want to talk about, that's usually the one that's really deepest in their mind that needs to be overcome in order to let them move to the next section.
All right. So, we talk about on our team knowing your tool belt with just about, West USA offers us so much dang stuff. And we have a training we do. Here's 10 to 12 things that are in your tool belt. And as I'm talking with somebody, that tool belt's just cycling in my head. But for today's, purposes, I'm going to go with the top three. Because you now have got a mindset change. You understand what the consumer wants to talk about. And now it's time that you've had a real estate conversation. Like I said, I don't ever hand out business cards. Even if I have one, I'll lie and say I don't have one. And I shouldn't say that either.
No, you should, because that's exactly what people should do.
So when it comes to that point, especially if somebody asks me for a business card, like this young kid at Chase Bank who goes, "Well, would you have a business card?" I'm like, no, not really. But all I do is I open up my phone, hit new contact, hand it to them. And I have never had anyone not put in the correct information, because I can verify that right off the bat. Once they've put in the correct information, I'll text them with my name. And if they don't get the text, boom. So your phone is the greatest data collecting tool. So your mobile app, if you're a buyer, that mobile app is everything. Whether you like the mobile app or not, you do not have to like the mobile app. But if I know that you're on Zillow or Realtor.com and I know you're thinking about buying a home, I am going to open up the mobile app. I'm going to talk about how cool it is. People are like, "Oh, that's fantastic." I don't even ask. I open up the share button. All right, hey, I'm going to help you download this onto your phone. You're going to find it amazing. What's your phone number? Boom. And then I text it to them. Now I've got their phone number. And if I still can't collect their name at that point, we got forewarned. That's another day, another time, right, Nick? And or if you're home sale. And these are the tools that we use at open houses. And if there's someone who owns a home, I'm telling you, the upgraded I Found Agent websites are where it's at. We are right now going through, over the last 2.5 years, all of our closings, and we're putting everybody on these neighborhood reports on the back end of the website, and we can track it. So so if I meet somebody, all I have to do is talk about it. Great, just need your name and address, or name and email address. I don't really even need you to give me your home address, because Nick, I use Forewarn on a daily basis.
The nice thing about Forewarn, it right below the number, it says advanced search. And if you ever click on that, you can put somebody's name and their original. I found a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a long, long time. We'd lost track. And I put in his name and his original address, and it found him and gave me his cell phone number.
So no, we don't have another 30 minutes to talk about this, but where do you put all this data, Mike, once you've collected it?
Well, I put it in your CRM system, buddy. But you're right. Another day, another time.
But that's part of why you were mentioning I Found, because they include a quasi, system there.
It's fantastic for neighborhood reports. In my opinion, I'll just say it, not a replacement of Wise Agent by any stretch of the imagination. But anyways, but it does stuff that no other website does. And then for, my wife, just sometimes at night, she goes, I've been wondering how old so-and-so at work is. Pop them in the Forewarn. We know how old everybody is. Anyways, all right. So moving right along.